In the third section of antenatal care, we will talk about the infections and fetal anomaly. In this section, we will talk about different infections including rubella, syphilis, hepatitis, HIV, UTI, and group B streptococcus, gestational diabetes, knuckle translucency, and biochemical screening. So, infection screening. Rubella is important that rubella vaccination of girls in early teenage should be performed, and vaccination is done with live attenuated rubella virus vaccine and involves a single dose injected subcutaneously. So teenager girls especially should be given rubella vaccination, and this is live attenuated vaccine and is given subcutaneously in the fatty tissue. Subcutaneous is the fatty tissue, and it is given just a single dose vaccination. Pregnancy should be avoided for 1 month after vaccination because it can cause complications. Then the syphilis, the test done for the syphilis infection, we have divided into non-specific tests, and then non-specific tests include Wassermann reaction. Complement fixation is a serological test. Then we can do flocculation test and VDRL, which is venereal disease research lab test. RPR, rapid plasma reagents. All these are the non-specific tests. We have Wassermann reaction, complement fixation, flocculation, VDRL, RPR. These are non-specific tests for the diagnosis of syphilis. Then some specific tests just for the syphilis, we have Treponema pallidum immobilization test. Is the specific test that caused the syphilis is Treponema pallidum. And then also fluorescent treponemal antibody tests. These are the specific tests performed for the syphilis. And treponema pallidum heme agglutination test. This is all the specific test. Then hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver. This is the normal liver, and this is the liver with hepatitis. You can tell the difference, you can see the difference. So hepatitis is B and C are common in pregnancy. We can do passive and active vaccination for hepatitis B is important. And full vaccination protects infant from hepatitis B infection in 90% of the cases. So hepatitis is infection of the liver, and B is very common during pregnancy, and active and passive vaccination can prevent the infection in the infants. HIV. HIV is diagnosed by detection of HIV antibodies, and it isolated and grown T helper and T suppressive ratio is also important. And then the seropositive mother who have HIV antibodies leads to seropositive babies due to transplacental transmission of antibodies may not indicate active infection in the baby. So if antibodies are present in the mother, they go through the placenta into the baby. That makes baby also seropositive for HIV antibodies, but doesn't mean that the baby has active HIV or AIDS. Management delivery should be by C-section, avoidance of breastfeeding, and treatment by antiretroviral therapy. Group B streptococcus Gram-positive bacterium, which is common, is commensal carried in GI tract and can be detected on rectal and vaginal swab. During vaginal delivery, risk of transmission to the neonate. So in this case, also C-section should be done because during normal vaginal delivery, the infection can be transferred to the neonate and cause complications. So, and it is diagnosed by vaginal and rectal swabs. Screening for group B streptococcus using a low vaginal swab taken between 34 and 36 weeks is recommended. So it's important to do the screening for this. Urinary tract infection, this is the bacteria, these are the white blood cells. Urinary tract infections, as in any infection, white blood cell count is increased. So on urinalysis, during pregnancy, increased white blood cell count and increased bacteria are very common because pregnant women are prone to urinary tract infection because of stasis of urinary outflow as a result of pressure of enlarged uterus on the bladder. So screening for asymptomatic bacteriuria without any symptoms, and usually there is presence of pathogenic organism in excess of 10,000 per ml, usually indicate bacteriuria. Acute pyelonephritis, which is inflammation of the pelvis of the kidney, and with increased pregnancy, loss, and preterm birth. So any extensive urinary tract infection leads to fetal death and preterm birth and pregnancy loss. Gestational diabetes is the diabetes or increased blood glucose count level during the pregnancy. It is associated with increased incidence of intrauterine death as well as increased intrapartum and neonatal complications. Glucose tolerance test should be performed if blood glucose is more than 7.7 millimole, it's positive. Selection by history, how we can tell that this patient might have gestational diabetes during pregnancy if there is history of impaired glucose tolerance. If there is first degree relative with diabetes, if there is previous unexplained stillbirth, previous macrosomic. Usually pregnant women with diabetes have enlarged macrosomic babies, excess of 4 kilograms. Maternal weight less than more than 100 kilogram or body mass index more than 35. Repeated episodes of glycosuria and maternal age more than 30 years. All these are the alarming signs. If patient has this or pregnant women have these features in the history, it is more likely that she can develop gestational diabetes. Screening for fetal anomaly account for some 20 to 25% of all perinatal deaths and for about 15% of all death in the first year of life. These are all the anomalies and their frequency. Involvement of the heart 6%, cranial 6 out of 1,000. Craniospinal 3 to 7, renal tract or kidneys 1, gastrointestinal 1. So cardiovascular and craniospinal involvement of the skull and the spinal cord are the most common anomalies, fetal anomalies. Then knuckle translucency and biochemical screening. Screening is done for trisomy 21. It's the chromosomal abnormality. It's the invasive testing, then termination. If there is a screening for a new trisomy is done or any chromosomal and genetic abnormalities, and it is fine that the baby has this problem, then usually termination of pregnancy is recommended. Screening is by the use of biochemical and ultrasound tests. These are the presence of DNA in the maternal blood and in the fetal blood. And if there is any abnormality and aneuploidy or trisomy 20, then the pregnancy should be terminated. Use of ultrasound measurement of knuckle translucency. What's knuckle translucency? Is the presence of fluid behind the fetal neck. So if it's present, it's detected by the ultrasound and measuring how much fluid is present behind the fetal neck. So that was all about the fetal anomalies and how they can be diagnosed and investigated. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.